A challenge I faced when seeing patients is that treatment isn't always as simple as taking a couple of pills or applying an ointment for a month or two and then voila, you're cured. Many conditions aren't even treatable, they can only be managed lifelong. Patient compliance is another challenge I've faced. How do you convince a patient that they're almost as responsible for their own treatment as the various therapies they're a part of? Hi, I'm Dr. Sharon, clinical dermatologist, and in this video, I'd like to talk about the role of a patient in their own treatment and also touch upon a discipline called Psychodermatology, which explores the connection between the mind and the skin and how it may be an integral part of managing various dermatological conditions. So keep watching to find out how this may benefit you. The field of psychodermatology may be fairly new, but the concept of a relationship between the skin and the mind goes back centuries. Hippocrates mentioned how stress causes one to want to tear their hair out, a condition now known as trichotillomania. And he also mentioned how fear causes the skin to sweat. Then in 1857, an English dermatologist, William James Erasmus Wilson, wrote in his book of skin diseases about cutaneous neurosis and several skin conditions linked with anxiety and depression. Now in South India, where I'm from, the climate is typically hot and humid, and fungal infections are not uncommon in several regions. So with the right medicine and a bit of patient education, these conditions can be properly taken care of. But what I've seen is that patients keep returning with the same ailments over and over again, and I see a waste of their time and money and unnecessary stress being added to their lives because they didn't realize that they're just as important for their own treatment as much as the doctor's prescription. So where did we go wrong with our healthcare system? Now, this isn't some general consensus, nor am I talking about it on a global scale, but these are a couple of observations that I've made on my way here. From a physician's point of view, a few things I can think of are: 1, not getting the patient on board enough with their management and treatment plans. 2, not educating those who need awareness. And 3, not having enough time to encourage them to step up to be responsible for their health as much as is possible. Doctors sit at the giving end and patients at the receiving end, and it seems like a mere transaction, but it's really not that simple. The way a disease operates is so complicated that researchers and scientists don't really know all there is to know. Yes, they found the cause for a particular disease. Yes, they found the cure for it as well, but it's not always enough to bring about healing for a patient. There are factors known and unknown that play into the workings of a disease. In fact, in more than 1/3 of patients with dermatology-related problems, cooperation with the mind is essential for effective management of conditions. So, why am I saying this? The mind is wonderfully intricate, it's complicated, it's powerful, and it plays an essential role in managing several chronic dermatological problems. Now, the medicine you may be taking may be a futile step if you do not realize that your own mind may be sabotaging your health behind your back. You need to be more invested in your ailments, ask questions, do your research, and don't base your knowledge on random sources from social media or WhatsApp forwards or from the uncle or auntie next door, because what you believe about your skin disease can impact whether or not you're going to be free of it. For example, stress exacerbates acne lesions, but if you don't really believe it, you're not going to do anything about your stressful lifestyle, and it's going to probably be a factor in keeping you from having complete freedom from acne lesions. Now, it's easy to tell a patient to stick to a certain treatment plan, but certain conditions like psoriasis, leprosy, pemphigoid, they take a long time to improve. And while a doctor may not be with a patient 24/7, a patient has their mind with them at all times. Now, you may be taking medications for diabetes, cholesterol, heart conditions, high blood pressure, but you cannot see how it works on the inside and how it impacts you directly. But when it comes to the skin, you can see the changes happening to it, and this gives you a sort of control and responsibility when it comes to managing them. Emotions do impact your skin, as proven by various studies on psychosomatic reactions in skin. Flare-ups seen in atopic dermatitis, psoriasis, autoimmune blistering conditions like pemphigus vulgaris and bullous pemphigoid all have stress as an exacerbating factor. then excessive sweating or hyperhidrosis from anxiety, rosacea lesions from emotional distress, seborrheic dermatitis, alopecia areata, vitiligo, acneic scoria. These are all examples of conditions that are impacted by emotions. Either it worsens them or it precedes them. So the symptoms suffered by the patient and the psychological stress then enter into a vicious cycle. Then there are other conditions like the one I mentioned earlier, trichotillomania. Then delusional parasitosis, where the patient feels insects crawling over their body, leading to intense itching. Then psychogenic pruritus, another condition with itching as a symptom, are examples of psychiatric conditions with skin manifestations. Now, stress isn't the only convicted emotion here. A double-edged sword in dermatology is that while literally being able to see your skin condition and thus have a form of control in its treatment, others too can see it as well, and this can lead to embarrassment or fear in you and repulsion from the other side. And so this can cause social anxiety, depression, relationship problems, affect your daily activities, your job, and overall diminish your quality of life. There's so much risk of damage to a person's entire future, and all that we may be doing is prescribe a couple of medications for a dermatological problem alone. Now, mental health isn't talked about enough. It isn't understood enough. And so the connection between dermatology and the mind is largely underestimated. Now, people may chalk this up to philosophical nonsense, but ignorance of this, to an extent, may be responsible for why skin diseases keep recurring over and over again in patients' lives. Now, stress, anxiety, and other emotions, they may impact the immune system, inflammatory responses, and cause various skin diseases, and also exacerbate existing ones. Basically, what you see, what you feel, can all reflect on your skin. When you're faced with a stressful situation, there's something known as the HPA axis, which stands for hypothalamic, pituitary, and adrenal glands. Now, this produces hormones, one of which is cortisol, known as the stress hormone. And it helps regulate your metabolism, takes care of your blood sugar, blood pressure, and suppresses inflammation in general. But what happens in a chronic state of stress, the HPA axis gets dysregulated. And so this causes weight gain, it affects your blood pressure, and it leads your body in a state of pro-inflammation. And this increases the risk of infection. Now, similar to the HPA axis in the brain, there are components of the HPA axis in the skin as well, and so this produces hormones in response to stress, and this causes dysfunction in the skin barrier, itching, and inflammation. Stress and anxiety can aggravate itching seen in various conditions like prurigo nodularis and neurodermatitis. So again, through the activation of the HPA axis, several chemicals are released which cause the itching sensation and mediate the itch-scratch cycle, and this worsens stress, which again causes a defect in the skin barrier, and the whole thing repeats again. So finally, the point of this video is to make you more aware of your psyche, your mind, when it comes to managing chronic conditions, and that along with medications, a stress management plan needs to be drawn up as well. I also hope to empower you to actively participate towards improving your skin health and mental health. Now, stress comes in various shapes and sizes, and it is tailored to each one of us differently. So try and find time in your daily schedules to manage it. Find triggers that may be responsible for it, and keep a record of events precipitating it. These are all baby steps. I know, easier said than done, but the first step is acceptance. Now, you may need medications for your anxiety. Maybe cognitive behavioral therapy can help. Maybe group therapy is what you need, or maybe just a walk every day is enough. But recognize stress as something that is negatively impacting your life and your skin. And this will help you to be more compliant when it comes to long-term treatment plans, and also help you break free from the vicious cycle of stress-induced flare-ups. And that's it for this video. I hope you were able to learn something new and that you're inspired to make some changes to improve the overall quality of your life. Thank you for watching, and until my next video, bye.